Vladimir Antonov on Nirodhi and ways to achieve it. What is the state of Nirodhi spoken by Gautama Buddha? The word Nirodhi means the controlled by the practitioner disappearance of human individuality. This is accompanied by its mergence with the primordial consciousness in some of his manifestations. What does it mean? Let's realize this, or at least imagine the following. I stand with outstretched arms up to the neck in a large body of warm water during quiet, harmonious weather. I feel, with the arms of the consciousness, the water from all sides of my body, to the furthest possible distance. I achieve the point when there is now only the element, tattva, water, while the body disappears from perception. This is the state of non-I, i.e., yet only a model of the state, Nirodhi. However, it can be cognized not in any other way than through the development of oneself as the spiritual heart. Moreover, in order to cognize not a model of Nirodhi but the true state, it requires prior practical cognition of the multidimensional Absolute, mostly his subtlest layers. I am not, there is only He, thus the state of mergence with the God in the aspects of the primordial consciousness and Brahman, the Holy Spirit, may be reached. Then, infusion in Him and accretion with Him. But I repeat, a necessary condition for success is achieving an adequate level of subtlety of consciousness. If the full mergence with the primordial consciousness or Brahman has occurred, thus the united we, unity with other representatives of the primordial consciousness, is cognized. This is one of the top variants of nirvana. United we may be tried to be perceived not only as a non-I, but also as the universal I. All these states are possible only for the person who has developed oneself as the spiritual heart and fully mastered its main function, the ability to love. We must first of all learn to love, in relationships with people and other creatures, i.e. with other souls. Then, further, we can learn to love the highest souls. We can embrace them as well as we embrace beloved incarnate friends by the arms of love. But now our arms are huge, and our divine friends are huge too. And, moreover, they consist of the supreme tenderness, higher caress, higher care, higher power, and wisdom. Love in their embraces is the most blissful of all possible variations of love. Love tenderness, love caress, love care. Another possibility to merge with God, except through love to Him, does not exist. You can become the ocean of primordial consciousness, or you can be in the state of the highest love with His concrete representatives. You can also embrace many of them, all at once, and feel that the united we of the Holy Spirits, Bodhisattvas, is equal to my new I. In order to keep oneself in this state for a long time, as in any other higher states, it is necessary to feel the arms. What are arms in this case? Everyone who has reached such meditative abilities can have a huge number of such arms, large, consisting of the light tenderness. It's possible to touch with them any part of the united we and of the creation, and, in the same way, to touch any individual soul, non-incarnate or embodied. But the emphasis should be placed on strengthening yourself in the state of the united we. To do this, you can create a lot of arms of love and touch very gently the Holy Spirits, Bodhisattvas, and hug, merge with them. But where is my body? Nothing is visible of it, even for clairvoyance. I do not see any even small dark spots in it. Full transparency. Thus we can heal our bodies from all still remaining diseases. And if suddenly meditation is lost due to fatigue, you can simply hug, love, thank those who help us in our development. You can also easily find any familiar non-incarnate divine teacher, talk with him or her, put questions, get answers. Or you can dissolve in the unity with each of them or with all of them simultaneously. If someone already has mastered also the methods of entry into the Turinity, i.e., into resting state of God, you can relax in this state of Him. Having been embodied into the world of matter, a soul naturally grows together with the matter. But the completion of personal evolution, the highest point of the final achievements in the human body, it is in addition to fusion with the united we, deification of the body. That is, all the energies that are inside the body, including those that are turned into solid matter, must be spliced with the united we. And then, at the end of this work, the body becomes divine, immortal, and capable of disappearance and re-emergence by the will of the united we. This ability was manifested by Jesus Christ and some other divine teachers. I remembered the story from a movie where the guy's father decided to talk with the girlfriend of his son. In particular, does she have serious intentions towards his son? He asks, "Tell me, how do you love my son?" "I love him very much." "And what about such and such guys? Do you really love them very much too?" "Yes, I love very much all those who are in my embraces." There is something to ponder. Someone may gloat over these words and put all sorts of abusive epithets, despise, hate. Thus some people, i.e. lovers of such own emotions, are programming themselves to hell. But the truth, that's it. We have to learn to love all. But, of course, our love should not be identical towards everyone. It needs to take into account the consequences. Familiar to us Holy Spirits, Surya, Swallow, Mary Magdalena, and not only they, have grown to the divinity specifically on such intensity of their love. This highly intense love is easily associated with the creating divine fire, in contrast to the smooth, soft, and calm love that is beautiful too. Our emotional love can be quite different, either a deep, gentle calm, or soft, affectionate, like the light of the sun shortly after the sunrise, or like an intensive fire-like giving itself. All of these states may occur, although with varying prominence, in both spiritually growing people and the Holy Spirits, Bodhisattvas. What is fundamental of any true emotions of love? Not wanting for oneself, not selfish passion, but helping others. With my love, I wish to flood, heal, transform, help with all my strength, the strugglings. The strength of all this love is directed, first of all, to all good creatures, including humans, and then becoming developed also for God. Each who has attained this possibility can move from one of these states of love to another, but some of such states are the most favored for every one of them. We can obtain the possibility to live and grow spiritually in sattva of the world of matter, but it would be even more useful to master the life in the company of the Holy Spirits, Bodhisattvas, having learned to live, namely when the body is living, among them. This kind of life opens the best way to continually learn from them. But there are problems in the ability of people to understand. There was such an incident. Once the old lady physician mused, "What if Vladimir is right and there is God? Is it possible that my late husband is living but not dead?" It was in the evening in her room on the 4th floor of a townhouse, and suddenly there was a knock at the window from the outside. It repeated several times. It was as if an embodied man knocked on the window to draw attention to himself. She understood. It was the confirmation from God about his existence, and also that the individual life does not stop with the death of the body. She told me about all this. Good. I was glad for her. But it is important, in the context of our conversation, what was then? Before her, the new problem appeared. How could that one who knocked turn out to be just outside the window of the 4th floor? She investigated the gaps under all the doors in order to understand how that spirit allegedly climbed the stairs, could go through the corridor of the flat to her room, and then knock from the outside. And even though I explained to her that a spirit has no obstacles on the part of matter, easily penetrating it, she could not accommodate it mentally by the mind. This is it. The level of development of intelligence. Can such intelligence accommodate the reality of existence of living God, learn to interact with him, merge, make the fusion with the united we? No. She was a person with higher education, a doctor of medicine, and not young, but she was at a loss in front of such an insoluble problem for her mind. And the vast majority of people around are at the same or at even much lower stages of intellectual development. That time, God showed me this very important example on this subject, and I give it to you. If a person looks decent, says some right words, looks charming, it does not mean that he or she can understand God. Such people tend to stick to the leaders of various sects, who are solemnly dressed, say with weighty voices, scare and threaten. I met adults who were afraid of taking the subway, because under the earth's surface is hell, and try to tell such people that there is a reason to learn, including to lower one's self-consciousness under the earth's surface, to penetrate by ourselves the entire planet, to be on the other side of it. Horrible! They would shout. Here it is, the doctrine of the devil. You want to be charged with hell energy, then to do evil on the earth. An intelligent person wonders and wonders about such absurdities, but ripeness of intelligence comes slowly in the process of evolution of souls. If we truly love someone, we take care of him or her. Therefore, we feel his or her emotions, desires. And the developing intelligence permits one to distinguish between the true needs of others and the false ones. And we help others, one way or another, depending on this differentiation. Then we learn to put the interests of others above our own interests. This occurs in the sphere of, first of all, emotions. Thus we learn the principle to love another more than myself. The result is the fullness of feedback. And then these same feedbacks arise between the spiritual devotee and God. This allows one to master those stages of development as have been mentioned in this article.